This is Wellness Buds, and I'm your host, Stella Wingfield.
And I'm Laura.
Today's episode is inspired by the following quote. Romance is the glamour which turns the dust of every day into a golden haze. Carolyn Gold Heilbrunn. I hope I pronounced her last name right. But I freaking love that quote. I think it's so cute. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Woo!
Since it's the day of love and affection, and I find this interesting, before we start with our journal prompts, we are going to talk about the impact of physical contact on your brain and body. We haven't gotten nerdy with it in a little bit, so hopefully y'all like this kind of content. Even if you have heard about this before, I think it's still pretty cool to hear about. So when we touch, whether that is cuddling, hugging, or holding hands, our bodies release feel-good hormones. These hormones include oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. Once the hormones are released into our bodies, we experience feelings of happiness, relaxation, improved mood, and lower levels of depression. Hand-holding or hugging also results in a decrease of the stress hormone cortisol, which I guess explains the result of relaxation and improved mood. Oxytocin is how your body rewards you for making special connections. It also makes you more successful at forming and maintaining those connections. Studies have shown that oxytocin makes you feel more generous, more empathetic and nurturing, more collaborative and more grateful, all of which assist with making you a good coworker, a good friend, a good partner, a good parent. And as we discussed in previous episodes with the grateful stuff, that's episode 4 and 5 if you haven't already checked it out. But gratitude especially is a powerful bonding emotion. Many scientists have deemed it the psychological glue that keeps people close. Knowing that touch releases oxytocin, which then triggers dopamine release, it makes sense that when you're feeling sad, anxious, or other negative emotions, that a hug can just make you feel so much better. And when I was reading all of this stuff, I just couldn't help but to think of Michael Scott. Hug it out, bitch.
Yes. I am, so curious about, isn't it 3 seconds for the hug? Is that what it is?
Well, that's so funny since the next little fact that I have says that the research suggests hugging or cuddling for more than 6 seconds, oxytocin and serotonin are released at their maximum levels.
Okay, see, I knew there was a second rule, about how long, but also, those hugs where you're like, please just let go. What do those release? I need to know. Hopefully on Valentine's Day, the person hugging you is not that person.
Right.
But I could not help but be like, I have definitely had hugs where I'm like, and release. Not from Harrison, but in general.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's just human nature. It's like you want to hug people that you're close with. And if you're not that close with someone, it's like, give me my space. Please. And thank you.
And especially in the Southeast, I'm just a hugger.
If I don't know you like that, I don't know you like that.
You're messing up my chemical balances. Please release.
Yeah, so it's cool, though, all of this stuff, and when we're happy, we release those optimum levels of serotonin and oxytocin, too. Serotonin has also been associated with increasing immune function, which I think is really cool to know that these affectionate behaviors not only help with mood, but also immunity. And like we were just saying, it's like those good feelings happen from hugging people that you want to be hugged with. And this, that extends out to pets too. So your beloved Elmer and my Winnie, of course, that helps just overall comforting feelings, and feeling comforted helps with mood and just feeling secure. Making us feel happy. So I know if you've listened to previous episodes, when you're depressed or anxious or stressed, it has negative impacts all over, but definitely including your immune system. So it just clicks for all these reasons. Touch is so great when you're being touched by someone you want to be touched by.
Yes, I think it's like good to clarify that. Don't go out just hugging bitches.
Yeah. Must have consent
Yes.
for everything. So, yeah. But also, too, it's like not everyone does release those hormones with touch. So I think it's important to also acknowledge that, like, not everyone likes to be touched. Not everyone gets these benefits. There are people who are neurodivergent who do not like the touch. So got to be aware of that. And then also when I was doing research for this episode, about 5% of the population does not release oxytocin in general.
Oh.
Yeah, and I guess that's more commonly seen for people who have not had enough nurturing during their childhood, or people who have been abused, which is really sad.
That is sad.
Or if people who are like chronically really stressed, have high stress levels or high levels of cortisol, as well as increased levels of testosterone can hinder oxytocin release. So yeah, that part's a little bit more sad. Sorry to be a bummer, but have to include it. Yeah, definitely helped refresh my memory on some of the helpful impacts of physical touch, though. And I feel like everyone being in the pandemic knows it's been harder with that stuff. But I hope that on this Valentine's Day that you can get a hug from a family member, a friend, or a partner, or whoever is consenting.
Yes.
Yeah, so now on to our Valentine's Day inspired prompts.
Yay.
Write about your first date ever. How old were you? Who was it with? How'd you meet this person? Go.
Okay, so I don't know if this was... I only remember my first kiss. And I'm sure it was very close to my first date. I also had, like... I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16. But, like, my mom... This first one, my first one, was at the movies. And my mom dropped me off there. So, like, she knew I wasn't, like, breaking the rules. But I don't know if at the time I was allowed to call it a date. But I got my first kiss. So I'm pretty sure this is where it lays. I was going into 8th grade, I believe, the summer. So that would be 13. And it was at the James Allen Movie Theater, which is now Apartments, R.I.P. And it was the tiniest little movie theater with John Powers. I wasn't sure if I should snitch his whole name. He's married now, he has children. Leave him alone. But John Powers, and I think I met him at school first. He later went to a different school. We went to the same church. He was always around. And I knew for a long time he would have been fine kissing me before he got that first kiss. And I don't think it was his first, just mine. But I do remember, I couldn't even tell you what movie we saw, honest to God. But I do remember outside the movie theater, like, where all the posters are, like, leaning in and pecking. And then I think my mom picked me up pretty soon after.
That's why you couldn't kiss outside. It had to be inside.
Yes, with all the posters. And I was like, oh my golly. I don't think, like, we didn't end up dating because I wasn't allowed. But I kissed someone. I don't even think I, like, kissed him much after.
One and done.
Yeah.
A little peck, that's all you get.
I was cool, just that. But yeah, other than that, I think it just chilled. I really thought about this for a long time, because, like, my first real boyfriend, I mean, I know at some point we watched movies together and ate food, but it's been so long.
Yeah, this took me a second to try to jog my memory. And now that you're talking about your movie date, I'm like, I remember having a movie date myself. And we went to see The Ring. And
I did watch The Ring on my back patio on Halloween with 2 boys and another girl. Maybe that's a date.
Yeah, I remember that we held hands, but I'm like, did that happen before this date that I'm remembering? Because I don't remember. But I think this one that I wrote about is my legit first one.
Yeah.
I think.
I think we had too many hormones being released at all times of boys paying attention in the beginning, so it's all a blur.
It's
Whatever you
such a
can
blur.
pull gets to be number 1.
Yeah. All right. So what I wrote, I think I was 14 when I went on my first date. And I think my dad only agreed to let me go on it and it being called a date because he met this human. Well, I met him at the same place. We at my parents' friend's daughter's high school graduation party. Also, I think my older brother was dating this girl whose graduation party we were at, if I'm remembering correctly. I hope I'm not making that up, but that is what I remember. But anyway.
Maybe you're just exposing his secrets later on.
No, I'm pretty sure they dated. And it was, yeah, like the woman whose house we were at, Cindy, was really good friends with my mom. So that's how I'm sure my older brother got introduced to the daughter. And then we were all there for the grad party. And I remember not really thinking anything of the grad party, except I remember playing games and having a fun time. And there were some people around my age, but then there were obviously way older people too. But I left, like I said, not really thinking anything about it other than it was just a fun family outing to a grad party until later I find out someone at that party was interested in me. And I don't even really remember talking to him that much at the party, but...
Did you find out through the gossip grapevine?
Yeah, that's the part that I was like, I don't really remember if he reached out to someone like my older brother and then the message got passed along, or if I was on Facebook at that time. I really don't remember.
I think if it was anything, it was MySpace. He probably just liked your music, girl.
Maybe, but yeah, he asked me out and then I said yes. And next thing I know, I'm going on my first date ever. So he was a little bit older than me. I think he might have been 15 or 16, but without his driver's license because his parents came and picked me up and drove us to mini golf. I actually fucking hate mini golf though. And I don't know why I agreed to this being the choice, unless it might have just been a surprise, like we're going on a date, and I don't really remember discussing the date. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll humor this mini golf endeavor. And we were already dropped off at the Shell's restaurant / Dairy Swirl / mini golf course. So it was a whole date night in one place. And it's not like I could have argued. I'm like, we're already here and there's nothing else in walking distance. So we play the damn game. He was really nice. But honestly, I remember just thinking that he looked so much older than me. And I don't know. I just remember being on the date with him and being like, he looks like he is easily 10 years older than me, like in his 20s. Like he just had an old vibe to his appearance. And I think his name was James, but I truly don't remember. I think that's what it was, but I don't know. He wasn't really like my type. He was super clean cut, and back in high school, I don't know. I liked the bad boy, I think, but I was like, trying to give him a chance. And we play the game, we get ice cream, because obviously it's the damn Dairy Swirl. I remember having an all right time, but just not feeling really emotionally mature enough to be going on dates. And I think it was just because he looked so much older than me that I was like, this is just weird.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready for the physical touch. I was not ready for kissing, like in no way. I remember feeling like really nervous and uncomfortable that I was just like, oh God, I hope he doesn't try to kiss me. And I don't know, I guess he was just kind of vanilla too. But it's also just a first date, and I feel like I was really quick to judge and be really picky back in the day. So I remember having that mindset of like, if there's not fireworks right away, it is not it,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when really, like we talked about last episode, sometimes you gotta give people a chance, but obviously, it's not like we were meant to be, so it's all good. Yeah, I remember him walking me to the door, And I'm pretty positive he did give me a hug and was very respectful and did not try to go in for the kiss, which would have been like a hard pass and awkward no situation had it gone that way. But I feel like this date just in general made me realize that I was not ready to date, really. I just don't think I was at that emotional level of being ready for that. So,
I can't believe you even felt that way in the time. I think my pride would have been like, nah, I have something to prove. My mom said I wasn't ready. I'm about to be ready.
yeah, I really thought that I was ready and I really wanted to be. I don't think I recognized that that's what it was at the time. I was just like, I just remember feeling so uncomfortable, like inside my body, like not ready. Those feelings, but I didn't.
Maybe it was the mini golf.
As soon as I saw that course, I was like, fuck dating.
Dead to me. I'll bury you in this course.
Yeah, I think, well, you know me, I'm so competitive and I suck at mini golf. That's why I hate it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the last time I did mini golf, I was losing pretty bad and got pretty grouchy.
It's not fun to lose.
10 out of 10 would go again, but someone watch my dude.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
We can not keep score and maybe I'll be more interested. I don't know.
Yes. Or like, if I'm playing like trash, just play like trash even if you're good.
Yeah.
Stroke the ego a little, okay? It's good for the date.
Yeah, we're on a date. Let me fucking win.
Yes.
All right. So, on to a more, I guess, like relevant love prompt. What are 3 things I admire about blank? And I left it open-ended where, if anyone at home does want to do any of these prompts, like it can be a romantic partner, but it could also just be a really close friend or someone that you think highly of. So, yeah, for me, I did my partner. So what are 3 things I admire about my partner? And then what are 3 things I admire about myself?
Okay, when I did this, I specifically wrote 3 things I admire about myself in my partnership.
Oh.
Because I was like, well, I wrote 3 things that I admire. I guess one of them's kind of like him for himself, but in general, I wrote like what I admire for, like that he does for me or gives for me or is working for me.
Yeah, perfect. Like we said before, I don't know. I think it's fun to interpret things. Yeah. You can interpret it how you want. So it's your fucking reflection and your time. So do you.
Yes. Okay. So the 3 things I admire about Harrison are his motivation. He's always been motivated since I met him, but recently especially the motivation train has been chugging. And he is just on the path, running with it, going with it, riding the wave. And I think I'm a very similar person in general because a lot of it is in the workspace. And I get like that with work a lot, where I get very invested in it. So I like appreciate that about him. And also it's like nice to have someone that shares that, because if they don't feel the same way about work, sometimes it can kind of be a point of contention. So I appreciate that he also has that, so we don't have to be bitter when the other one is doing it.
You both understand the grind.
Exactly. This second one, I actually listed as what I admire about Harrison and about myself. This one overlaps. And it's openness. I feel like I appreciate that he lets me be so open, because long distance, like, you just kind of have to overshare, because I'm like, you don't know anything about my day, and like things that are really nothing that I don't know that I would have shared, I like don't want them to come up later in a half context and get skewed.
Yeah.
So then I just tell him like dramatically everything. Because I'm like, there's no reason to worry about this or even be concerned, but if it came up later, it could be in a weird context. So here's this information. But I really like that he kind of allows me to be that open, and he does return that. He's also probably a little extra open about things. But it also makes communication so much easier because I'm not really like trying to filter things out.
Yeah.
So I like being open. It's a general trait I have as well. I'm just kind of an open book. And I like that he allows it to stay fully open in the relationship. So that went both ways because I like being open. And then Harrison is very giving, and I really do appreciate that. So does my friends and family. Sometimes I think he's dramatically a giver, but it's really sweet. I just have learned I might be kind of stingy. But Harrison is like so sweet. No matter, we could be out with Joe Schmo and he is going to pay for their dinner plate if we all go to dinner.
Aww.
And like when we met up with some of my friends that he was meeting for the first time from back home, he paid for their brunch. Oh my God, my friends were like, no, we need to Venmo you. Well, I was like, it's a lost cause. He's not going to take it. But it is like really sweet, and it's like sweet to watch how special it makes people feel.
Yeah. He's so thoughtful. And I love, too, that he's not doing it to be, like, flashy. He's just, like, a genuine, kind person.
Exactly. It's never a flashy. Honestly, I think he gets mad when I'm like, they think they're dining and dashing. Like, we have to tell them you paid. But, like, even with me being long distance, like, my comforter got messed up, so Harrison sent me a new duvet. And I was having like really stressful week, and he sent me a massage, and it's just like
so
really
sweet.
He's a giver.
Not a bad thing, especially when it isn't like he's expecting something in return. You know,
Yes.
It isn't, it's just like, I'm doing this because I want to.
Exactly. And he really does just want to. And then about myself, obviously the openness. I think it feels good for me to be that open, and also like breaking some stigmas, you know? My life has fucked up shit. You want to hear about it? I'll tell you.
This is why I am the way I am based on all these previous things.
Exactly. And there are plenty of times where I'm like, none of this was rational, but this is how I felt. And then my other two kind of correlate as well because I really like that I'm attentive to the small things. I am really good at picking up on the little stuff, especially when it comes to dating and like what they would want as a gift or what they've been craving lately and things like that. Like I'm really good at picking up on that. So I wasn't sure if I just called it attentiveness, but it's like specifically I like that I can be kind of sneaky in getting the right gifts because I'm attentive to things. And like I'm pretty good with dates and names and like remembering once you tell me who someone is or when something is. I'm just good with that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's one of those things like you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
Either you're good with dates or you're not good with dates.
Yep.
And I actually have that. So that's nice. And I like that about me, and I think it like helps serve the other person pretty well. And I probably like that because I really like planning, and planning is like definitely my service of love that I tend to give to relationships. I like to plan things. I like to do it for them. I like to do it for myself, and it just makes me feel good. So
same. I relate so hard. You know, I'm such a planner.
Exactly. And like it's such a service because even when someone plans something for me, I'm like, oh, you feel so like cared for.
Yeah, because it is such a time requirement that goes into planning, which I think unless you are the planner, sometimes you don't fully realize until you have to do it yourself and you're like, oh damn, this is so much work. But it's like, obviously it always pans out really well if you do your research and you have the plan down. It's always worth the time invested, but it is a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But that's my 3 I like about me.
Cute. All right. So 3 things I admire about Josh. Number 1, his selflessness. He always puts me first, almost to a fault. Sometimes I feel bad because It's like this, I'm like half venting, half admiring. Okay. Sometimes I just want to yell at him to worry about his own damn self instead of always being concerned with me and my wants. I love him to death, but I'm just like, okay, sometimes I need to work out the situation on my own. Like food, for instance, if I'm hungry, his instinct is to figure it out for me, but my pickiness combated with hunger is my own damn problem, not his. So I'm like, I love how much he does prioritize me and always wants to solve my issues, but sometimes it's like, okay, you don't always have to solve all my issues, but I do so much appreciate that you want to, you know? Mm-hmm. Because not every man fucking cares about that. So, number 2, his dedication. I mean, he's agreed to live apart from me in the middle of bumfuck nowhere to focus on his school and his education journey because OSU is such a great school. I don't think everyone would be so dedicated to their passion and goals if it means sacrificing so much at the same time. So I think that's really admirable. He also has just been so supportive of me staying here in Portland and not saying like, hey, you need to come live with me. We can't be apart. So I guess, you know, that's technically 2 things that I'm looping together. His dedication to his journey and his support of my journey. I admire both of those things. And speaking of his journey, he's also been really dedicated to his health and working out right now, and he has been for a couple semesters now, and he is tracking his protein with me and like being in solidarity. So I'm just really proud of him because he hates the gym more than anyone I think I've ever met in my whole life. He hates it. But he's doing the damn thing and he's sticking with it, so really proud of him for that. I admire his kindness. He is just always so kind. He's so trusting. He goes out of his way to help people, even if in the past I've said, why are you doing that? And he's like, why not? He literally saved a stranger's life over summer and truly risked his own safety doing it, which I was like supportive of him doing it, but at the same time I'm like, just please be careful. He's just he's like your man too. He's just so genuine. He's so kind, and I really admire the fuck out of that. I know I talked previously in a different journaling episode about how I used to be really hardened and in my own lane and not thinking about anyone else. And I feel like his presence in my life has made me be more open and being more kind and like getting more in touch with that side of myself. So I admire that he's brought that out of me too. I did list a 4th one because his patience is something to be admired. I don't understand how he has so much fucking patience. It's such an area in my life that I have come a long way in, but I have so much more to go if I would ever want to be on his level. It's just insane to me how patient he is. I don't really know how he is that way, but I had to add this 4th quality because it's just impressive. So yeah. And then when you were talking about the work stuff though, I'm like, oh damn, Josh is such a hard worker too. That is admirable. But anyway, okay, on to things I admire about myself. My motivation and unwavering commitment to myself and my health. I know I've said before, but working out and trying to eat well, even if the eating part is a struggle sometimes, it's been such a constant in my life, and I've never really, I never really questioned that part of myself. It's not like if I'm going to do that, but when am I carving out the time for physical health, and more lately, when am I carving out the time for my mental health? So I like that I have been like really consistent with my motivation in progressing. I admire that even if I am content and happy with where I am still always looking forward. And I know that I'm forever going to be a work in progress, and that's fine, while still appreciating that I've come like a really long way too. I admire that balance because I have not always had that balance. I've not always had that mindset. So yeah, this number 2 item is just admiring my progression while still actively working on myself too. And I mean this for all aspects of my life. I've progressed in so many ways in so many different arenas of life. So, I don't know. When I was writing that, I was just like, damn, I could just like dive so deep into all of the progression, and maybe that should be a different a different prompt at some point, just because I feel like it is important to realize how far you've come as well. And then also, I don't know if it's like kind of repetitive, but I admire that I'm hardworking always and like really dedicated to whatever I'm putting my time and energy into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much more to expand on that. That's just what it is.
Very true, though.
Yeah, so onto our little fun bonus.
On a lighter note.
Yeah, on a lighter note, we admire so many things about ourselves, but we're going to go on to who is your celebrity or fictional crush?
Okay, I'm pretty sure this, like, I've said this so many times, I've probably told you this in person. I think mine has to be Harrison Ford. Because I love Harrison Ford, step one. I will say, I do think my brain picks Indiana Jones version of Harrison Ford, but a couple years back, I dreamt of my boy, we made out, and my brain was so accepting that it was present day Harrison Ford that I made out with. Not like Lost Ark. No. I'm talking like 2019, gray and wrinkly Harrison Ford.
Wow. Did he still have it though?
Oh, he still had it. So, yep, I'm pretty sure mine's Harrison Ford because my brain told me in a dream.
Wow.
I mean, he is beautiful in his heyday.
Yeah, no doubt. I just can't believe you literally only have one, because I made a goddamn list over here.
I have not dreamt of making out with anyone else. So it's like, when he has the trophy, you give him the trophy.
Damn, I don't think I've ever had a dream where I was making out with any of my crushes of the celebrity variety.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I think it's Harrison Ford.
Who just like conveniently has the name of Harrison as well.
I know!
So funny. Okay, well, I guess we'll go on to my list, and I feel ridiculous making a list now.
I mean, I made out with wrinkly Harrison Ford. Why he couldn't be Indiana Jones saving my life make out? One will never know.
Coming in with like the heroic sweeping you off your feet, and then...
Yeah, no, just being an old dude, macking.
Alright, so I've had a decent amount of celebrity crushes over the years, so I'm just gonna list them. I think my first, well, not first, because we'd be going back to like Backstreet Boys if it was like my first celebrity crush, but of being like, you know, in the thick of puberty and stuff, Johnny Depp always. But for me, it was always his bottom teeth. I don't know why. If you look them up, unless he's gotten them fixed.
I have to Google Johnny Depp's bottom teeth.
Yeah. They're like crooked and just, I don't know. He's so perfect in all the ways. And then he has these cute little crooked bottom teeth. And I have crooked bottom teeth. So it was just like, love it about him. Love his little quirky teeth. Okay. Are you looking right now?
Duh.
Okay. Next, Owen and Luke Wilson, brothers. So fine. Got the big noses. The big noses were always it for me. So, like, a lot of these people on my list have the big schnoz. Andy Samberg, Adrian Brody, Jim from The Office, a.k.a. John Krasinski. Is that how you say his last name? I don't know. But I crushed on both the actor and the character because Jim is just so thoughtful and romantic. And obviously, he is pretty fine. Steve Carell also, it's the nose, man.
It's the nose.
Yeah, all the noses. And then Adam Driver, oh my God.
Okay, I do love Adam Driver.
His nose, too.
Love him. Yes.
In Girls, I think, was the first time I ever saw him, and I was just like, ooh.
And it's just about to be like, girls.
Yeah. And then Michael B. Jordan from Parenthood is when I first saw him, and I was just like, yep, he is easy on the eyes for sure.
Yeah, he is.
And then also Dax Shepard, speaking of Parenthood. It's like, yep. And also the dad from that show, Zeke, even though he was old, he can get it. He has a good ass nose too.
A good ass nose too.
And A$AP Rocky, like, he has the nicest smile.
I mean, he's obviously gotta be good looking because now he's having a baby with Riri.
Yeah. Of all people, I found that news out from Josh. I was like, whoa. I'm not really that into pop culture, so I didn't even know they were dating. So, but cool. Congrats, Riri.
Dude. If anyone deserves love, it's Riri.
Yeah, she's a badass bitch.
She is.
With a badass, good-looking baby up inside her, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, the prettiest pregnant woman. Also, like, she just publicly had to, like, advertise her fucked up experience and, like, wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Oh, she's strong as hell.
But, like, also props for being a woman who's like, yeah, don't just take that shit.
Yeah, for anyone who needs to hear it, don't take shit.
Mm-hmm.
Product of the week. Pow! I know this might be more of a summer vibe, but honestly, it can be a year-long vibe, and it is my face gems. Laura knows, and maybe you know, if you know me, that I adore wearing fun face gems when going out for special occasions, bachelorette parties, any sort of dancey show, whenever I want to enhance my look or just be extra, because who doesn't like to be extra sometimes? These things are just rad. And they already come in the shape as pictured, so it's literally just a peel and stick versus trying to artistically arrange the gems on your face. So,
yes.
And the ones I get come in a pack, so it's just like you have a pack of 12 or 15 face gems, and then it's always just the most fun too when people aren't expecting it, and I'm like, I have party favors for everyone. Pick out which face gems you want to glam yourself up with.
Yes, I love when we do face gems.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to post some pictures of us in our face gems. Because I was looking through some pictures and I'm like, yep, bachelorette party. Yep, at Dirty Bird. Sure, other ones. Like, so fun. But pretty simple and basic. If you ever want a little bit of sparkle to your face, it's just nice. And then too, with like having to wear face masks and stuff, if you have some pretty stuff going around your eyes, I don't know, it can just be really fun.
True. You gotta really accentuate the top half.
Yeah,
you know.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. If you want to join our journal challenge, feel free to call or text our business line, 971-292-5565. Email us at wellnessbudspodcast@gmail.com or message us on our socials. You can also contact us with any of those methods. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, we would love to hear your suggestions. Please reach out. If you also have questions or just want to share anything about your personal wellness journey, feel free to contact us. We look forward to hearing from you, and I am very grateful for everyone who's listening. We appreciate your support. If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a review, donate, subscribe, share with a friend or family member, or share on your socials, or just continue to take the time out of your day to support us by listening. Thank you again, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.